everybody knows something, all right? And so the idea is, what do you have? Like, everyone has unique depth of knowledge in certain areas because you've been alive and your eyes and ears have taken inputs, period, right? Investors in Silicon Valley, and they have a very standard deal structure, and they have criteria for what they look for in companies. And one of the most important criteria that they look for is past experience. And so they're okay with somebody who's super young, et cetera, but they want you to have experience in the industry because there's just so much ignorance debt that you have to pay down if you literally know nothing about an industry. Like, there's just so much, like if your dad was a mechanic, you know so much about cars just by osmosis of being around a mechanic for 18 years. Past jobs you've held, you will know stuff about that industry. The jobs of your parents are things that you will know about that industry. And then you've got personal interests. And so I think that if I had put those into 3 buckets, it's like parent stuff, past jobs of self, and current interests. And so it's like, of those 3 things, which of those 3 buckets do you think you could help someone do a thing better? And so the idea is, you want to sell the most valuable thing, right? And so the most valuable thing is, what is the problem that I can help somebody else solve that I could charge the most money for? Or in reverse, that could make them the most money. And then I will be able to charge a percentage of the money that I'm able to make somebody else in this thing. Now, that's in a B2B setting. In a B2C setting, it would be, how valuable do people perceive the problem that they have as, right? Whether it's like, I can teach music, tons of people want to be able to learn how to, and if you're better, because you've had a side interest in that, awesome. Maybe you have a side interest because you're really good at editing the songs. Well, there's tons of musicians who hate that part and would love to have it. So it's like, we all know how to do stuff, and all we have to do is package the thing that we're doing. And I think the big problem is that people expect that they're going to have a perfect business. But if you look at the track record I can't think of an entrepreneur besides Jeff Bezos, who's a freak of nature, whose first business becomes the most valuable business in the world. Is most people have a graveyard of failures behind them. And so the idea is, you start not with the intent of saying, this is going to be the one thing I'm going to do for the rest of my life, which is the fallacy that employees have, that whatever they pick is going to be the thing they're going to do for the rest of their lives. When in reality, it's, I just have to do a thing that I'm good enough at, that I can learn the game. And the thing is, once you start taking steps, the next step becomes illuminated. You trying to think 100 steps into the future when you have no context is irrelevant, because chaos is going to break your plan anyways. And so do what you know, exchange. I like service businesses to start because they are, in my opinion, the lowest risk to start, because it's just your time, right?
So service businesses meaning?
Do stuff for money. And a lot of people think they need to have some novel idea to start a business when, I mean, the best, in my opinion, if you're getting into it, the best way to start a business is just look at what everyone else is doing and just try and do it better. Like, I mean, and there's obvious holes. Like, if you've gotten your dry cleaning, it's like, can I do this in half the time as this guy? If I do the lawn care, what are the things people hate about lawn care? They leave the trimmings around the edges. They're all shitty. The person doesn't speak English that well. Like, well, cool. Then I've got advantages, right? So it's like, what are things that I already know how to do or I have past experience in? What things, because I have past experience, I know that other people struggle with, that sucks about this thing. And then I will solve that specific problem. And it could also be a problem that other people solve too. You just try and do a little bit better. Like, it's just not rocket science. You know what I mean? And then you start selling your time for money. So yes, you're still trading time for dollars. You don't need to read Rich Dad Poor Dad just yet, right? You're still trading time for dollars, right? But the point is that you're trading that time for money in order to learn, not to earn. You need to earn in order to pay your rent, eat, etc. But the major thing you're doing is you're paying down ignorance debt. So the vast majority of your income is coming in the form of education rather than earning.